So it was really, really stressful, and really the Children's Mental Health Waiver saved our family as being an intact family in the same household, because there were times when even on the waiver, when the social workers would say that they're concerned about Ben's safety and that kids who have symptoms as severe as my daughter's often do better in PMIC training, and so that's the pediatric medical intensive care, so placement basically, that she would be placed out of home. And so I never wanted to consider that. I guess I'm just wanting to give hope to families who maybe don't have enough services, that if we can convince people to fund this mental health waiver, that it can really make a difference in people's lives. It made a difference in my daughter's life, my son's life, my life, everybody, in our whole family. This affected our extended family as well. So there is that hope. Now, unfortunately, my son also has generalized anxiety disorder, and he is not on the waiver. He's been on the waiver for over a year, the waiver waiting list for over a year. I've tried to contact DHS, and even Ella's case manager has tried to contact DHS to find out, well, where is he on the waiting list? The last we knew, he was number 400 and something, and there's over 1,000 people on the list, over 2,000 actually on the Children's Mental Health Waiver waiting list. So it doesn't look like he's going to be coming up for waiver services anytime soon, but he's only 5, and he just had to start taking medication to manage his anxiety. Because we don't have the therapy, with Ella, it was kind of medication or placement. So we're going to try medication, because placement, I want my child with me. She has a home, and I don't want to have to place her out of home. That's a last resort. But Ben, since he doesn't have the services available, since he's not on the waiver, medication was something that I had to consider sooner than I did for Ella. I have a professional job that I've had for almost 14 years now, and have very good health insurance. And even with the health insurance, before Ella got on the waiver, I was paying over $300 a week out of pocket for her co-pays or things that weren't covered. Our health insurance said we'll only cover 20 OT visits per year, and so the other 32 weeks out of the year, I would have to pay $174 an hour for OT. That's just OT. And she does PT and art therapy and play therapy and music therapy and any kind of therapy. But when you live it every day, nothing could have prepared me for what it's like to live it every day and to love that child so much, and to see her suffer, and to see her fear and her anxiety turn into how she coped was lashing out at others when she would get scared. This is Roger. Can you say hello?
Hi, Ella. How are you?
I'm so happy to see you. What a nice hug. Yeah, I was telling him how you had memorized Let It Go.
Oh, yeah.
Before services, and even now, it's very isolating. Our children look very typical on the outside, and then people begin to interact with them and expect that typical interaction that you get with a 9 or a 12-year-old, and you quickly find out that that isn't what you're going to get. And you don't take your children out in public very often because you know that the potential for disaster is very real and very present. And so I think my children lack a lot of the opportunities that other people might allow their children, because we just choose not to put them in those situations or put ourselves in those situations. We often don't sign them up for camps or other things like that, because the people who run the camps aren't necessarily qualified to deal with those types of needs in that large group setting. Respite can help with that. Your respite provider could go to the camp with the child and bill the respite hours for that if you wanted your child to have that experience. So that's another way that the Children's Mental Health Waiver has been able to support families with children who have mental illness. The support that can be given to families through the Children's Mental Health Waiver is invaluable. We've been on the waiver for 2 years, and the change in our family dynamic, the change in our family's ability to leave our home comfortably and interact with others has increased dramatically, and I'm hopeful that we can help other families access these funds more readily.
Mm.